The English language is full of oddities and eccentricities. One thing we like to do is abbreviate, or should I say, abrr. That sounds funny. It doesn't look too funny though, does it? Because we are so used to seeing this sort of thing, right? Let's take a look at some of the most common ones. There are those that simply take out the vowels like year and quoted. There are those that drop the last part of the word like bro, brother, which has become its own word usage, and esp, especially. There are also those abbreviations that use the first letter of each syllable, like kg, kilogram, and tibs, tablespoon. We see abbreviations used a lot in titles, like Neighborhood Association, and the Bancorp Building, and Jane Doe, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. So how do we make the decisions to write words per minute versus WPM? Simple. If you are writing a novel and decide to throw in WPM to describe a character's typing capabilities, unless it is dialogue, then that is how the character speaks, which would be super fun. That is lazy. If, however, you are filling out a resume and are letting a prospective employer know how fast you can twiddle your fingers across a keyboard, WPM is perfectly acceptable. Improper. Sally can totally type like a bunch of WPMs. Proper. Type 80 WPM. Honestly, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to abbreviations other than it is a way to shorten words that are commonly used, letting the mind fill in the blanks. This isn't always a good thing. For example, I work at a veterinary office and often will get calls from clients asking what they talked to the doctor about because they forgot somewhere between the time they saw the doctor, doctor, and got home 10 minutes later. A great example of this is disc, especially when written in context that could make it go either in the direction of discontinue or disgust. Example, disc Rimadyl. If we go with the first option, I would tell the client to discontinue giving their dog Rimadyl. However, if they merely talked about it, then disgust Rimadyl makes more sense. See where abbreviations can get confusing? It's about to get a whole lot worse. Enter texting. Yes, that wonderful invention that allows us to talk, air quotes, to people without actually talking to them. Personally, because I can't hear very well, I prefer it, but one thing that irks me is so-called text speak. It's horrible, no good, very bad invention by the lazy. BRB, be right back, LOL, laugh out loud, or lots of love, or licking on lollipops, etc., etc., period, etc. And my favorite, and only one I can excuse using because there are just some circumstances saying the actual words, even if they do frequently evade my mouth in fullness, is WTF. What the Oh. As taught to us by Phil Dunphy on Modern Family, could also be interpreted as why the face. Now, as for numbers in writing, this is really quite simple, and by simple, it is actually very complex, and there are many exceptions, and there is also no consistency. If you are writing about a year, it's perfectly acceptable to write, gonna party like it's 1999 using the numbers, rather than gonna party like it's 1999. It would not be acceptable to write, he took 1-2 as in half, my money. That is lazy. Spell half. A good rule to follow is when using numbers to begin a sentence, spell it out. 22 people died tragically today when a truck of tiny tortoises tumbled over a trampoline. Don't start with 22 the number, people died. It looks funny, and stupid, and lazy. Please don't do it. I beg you. When dealing with large sums of money on paper, not in real life, because let's face it, if you had large sums of money, you probably wouldn't be here, right? You'd be off at some tropical village resort, in a bikini, drinking Mai Tais, and getting fanned by a hot cabana boy. No? Maybe that's just me. Except full shorts and a shirt. No bikini. The Mai Tais and cabana boy can stay. Ah, curse you, tangent! Anyway, when writing large numbers, don't forget the commas. It should be 123,000, 456, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unless you are counting, in which case you really need those commas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. ... When telling time, we get to use both abbreviations and numbers. Yay! Depending on which way you decide to write it out, 9 a.m., 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 and 9 a.m. are all acceptable ways to tell someone that it is 9 in the morning. The exception to this rule is when it is 12 o'clock. Spell out noon or midnight to avoid confusion. The most important part about using abbreviations and numbers in your writing is to be consistent. Do not, for instance, write, Dorinda dang near missed the 5:30, spelling out 5:30, train, otherwise she would have had to wait with that creepy guy nursing a sausage out of a paper bag at the stop's only bench until the 6 p.m., number 6 p.m., one arrived. Basically, the English language gives you the ability to make a complete fool of yourself and has a horde of handy rules to justify it. End.